let's talk a little bit about what we've seen. Israel seems to be completely now. I mean, it's not like they had any type of restraint before, but they're being relentless, and it feels like now they have an unfettered lane, as it were, to do this ethnic cleansing. There was a poll that came out in Haaretz, I think overnight or yesterday, showing massive support for ethnic cleansing in Gaza amongst the Israeli population. Trump doesn't seem to be terribly concerned about this. There was a brief moment where it looked like that they had made some negotiations with maybe, the Saudis or maybe the UAE was like, you got to do more for Gaza. And it got him to say there should be more food to Gaza. And so the Israelis let in like half a dozen trucks, woefully insufficient to keep kids from starving. 50 people killed overnight. The family that we've had on from time to time, who've started a bakery in Gaza and have started to attempt to do a kindergarten, they just lost 9, maybe 11 people in a drone attack last night.
We'll put a link to that fundraiser in the
That's not the Dardu family.
No, no, it is the Al Dagma family. They were killed east of Khan Yunis, and undoubtedly, children. I mean, it's just.
Yes, it's ramping up, and this week, and I have it as my pinned tweet right now. This comment from Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, which is just truly extraordinary. I can read his quote. He says, "The IDF is finally conducting a campaign against the civilian rule of Hamas and not just focusing on the military infrastructure. We are eliminating ministers, officials, money changers, and elements of the economic and governmental system," unquote. And the Gaza Ministry of Health just announced that 12 ICU nurses were assassinated this week, some in targeted strikes on their homes with their families. So the attacks on journalists and medical professionals have ramped up, and so Smotrich is saying that it is now official Israeli policy that they're targeting civilians and the entire civilian infrastructure.
And there's no where is the Arab leadership? I mean, there seems to be no pushback. There seems to be, short of like France and UK and Canada. Yeah. I mean, short of Yemen, no one. There doesn't seem to be any sovereign entities that are saying stop or slow or anything.
Right. Yeah. Even the Qataris, they made a lot of private comments to Trump and Witkoff, but MBS sitting next to him, MBZ sitting next to him, the Emir of Qatar sitting next to him, and having the cameras on them. None of them said a word.
We had David Hurst of Middle East Eye on yesterday, and he wrote a piece kind of talking a little bit about that, the lack of support from Arab leaders in the region. And this is what we kind of suspected was likely to happen with Donald Trump. Yeah, maybe talking to people that the Biden administration was unwilling to do, but he's talking to them so he can get cold hard cash in his hands. And Hurst made this point. This is a second generation of leaders in this region that are more removed from Oslo and more removed from the negotiation process of the 90s. And they are the kids of those people, and they just care about getting rich, right? So we've also, the United States via our funding these undemocratic leaders in the region, we have succeeded in removing them from the will of the civilian populations that they rule over. And so they're kind of they're very much like Trump, right? Trump is a lot more like those guys than he is even a Benjamin Netanyahu or a Republican back here, because they just care about getting wealthy via being in power.
Well, Netanyahu's not unlike them either.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
But yeah, we just don't cover that element of it much in the Western press. But yeah, Netanyahu is facing his own
theoretically more constrained by popular opinion in Israel. But now we see where popular opinion in Israel is. And,
right, yeah.
70, 80% of the Israeli population now, saying forced displacement and ethnic cleansing. I mean, however they phrase it.
But if you poll the population, they'll also say that if there's a deal to end the war and release all the hostages, they'll take that too. So it's a kind of schizophrenic situation.
But the thing is, like, how is there no awareness in Israel that the Hamas has offered that
right
deal
there, take it.
multiple occasions?
Yeah, for a year now, going back to May, November, of 23.
Yeah, but then I question sometimes, in polling, it's just people aren't always honest, right? I mean, there's you'll sometimes a pollster will say
what contradicting themselves here.
What motivated you to vote for Trump or something, and sometimes people will just say the economy because it sounds smart. Although in this election, I definitely think the economy was the number one issue. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that Netanyahu, he's more like Dick Cheney. Just the financial interests, I think, of Trump here are. There was hope that potentially this could open up a door, but right now the Palestinians are just being forgotten because everybody's more focused on getting rich right now.
Yeah. And I think they would like to see this ended and be able to normalize relations, but they're not willing to take even the smallest amount of risk
associated with that. Yeah, it's a horror show. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.